told you he was stylish. I told you he was stylish. You got some moments?
Yeah, moments of style and then moments of being crass and
I've only seen the
unbecoming.
moments of style so far.
I keep myself to myself when I'm the opposite of what I should be, right? Thank you for having me here, though.
Thank you for joining us. So we've got a couple of questions for you, and then maybe we'll open it up to the audience as well. But so yeah, you filmed Dreaming is Free with our friend Nuno. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about how it all came about?
Yeah, I for many, many years, I denied myself the highest honor you can award yourself as a person who loves films, which is to get your ass on over to LA. Jeez, I went to Los Angeles in September, and a dear friend, Rudo, allowed me to stay in his apartment in Santa Monica, and I just fell in love with Los Angeles. Like, everywhere I looked, I saw not something from a movie, a Hollywood movie, but I saw something from my own movie. Like boulevards, nice fancy old buildings, everything. Like, it was just begging for me to do something with it. And after a few days, I realized I need to do something about my hair, which was cut it. And so I cut my hair, and when I had that slick look going, you know, I got a camera and I started filming some shit. And I'd been filming some stuff in London as well, but I didn't know how I was gonna use it. So it was only being in Los Angeles that I found I had a story that could connect with the London stuff I'd shot.
Sometimes just going to another place is such an important thing for your creative motivation,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Because you get
Yeah.
so in your own bubble, especially us in cities, you know, we get in our own place, in our own routine, all of that sort of stuff, and sometimes it can kind of strangle the creativity, and it's there, and you know it needs to be used.
Yeah.
Sometimes just get out your house, go to a whole different country.
Yeah, just get yourself to Los Angeles before it burns down, right?
Before Corona, that is.
Shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We weren't
Sorry.
supposed
No
to
going to Los
mention
Angeles
Corona.
now.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit more about how it all came together. So there's some of it is shot in London.
Yes.
How are you showing the contrast between the two places?
I'm a
if you
little
are?
guarded because I just realized my mother is watching this, so I'm gonna watch my language. Not that I need to watch it. So yeah, I wanted to so with the London scenes, I was after this kind of marriage or interplay between narrative, like literature, short stories. So I wanted to shoot people of color reading a book, and then afterwards visualize what they were reading. When I went to LA, I met this guy Virgil, who's a friend he's my friend as well, and he works in production, and he's got an incredible presence and a wonderful soul. He's a warm person, and I knew I wanted to put him in the film. So I started just hanging out with him and friends and watching his vibe, and I thought he'd be the person most likely to communicate this feeling of freedom when you let someone go, like when you've been in a very long relationship and you have the last thing of this other person, and when you give it back, it's just relief. So I think I was after this feeling of also having someone whom mainstream cinema considers as the other, or a face that we never see in a role, and then having in a way the others, or people of a different skin color or whatever, interacting with this person's story, to show that when you make stories with other people, it's not just their own community that takes something from it, but it's all the others that get something from it too. And it's something I want to explore more in my work, for sure.
So you feel like there's a big, a big need to tell the other stories, the alternative stories, and sometimes even simple stories from people who don't really get the spotlight often. you know. I think you did a really good job of conveying diversity, even through the filmmaking. You know, it wasn't just like straightforward. You know, there's a lot of kind of awkward shots, but I say that in the nicest way, and a really, really nice use of color. Like even this shot over here. Come on now. Like,
oh wow, LA man, LA.
Man's like, oh
I have
wow,
to get
it's his
myself
own
back
film.
there.
Yeah, like definitely. Even this shot there. Come on. come on, there's a lot of that. Do you storyboard much when you make films?
I think I know what I want because the editor in me is present. So if I was to write a scene concerning the people in this room, it's not so important to have like a visual storyboard. It's more about what's going to happen in the scene and what I want to communicate and how I can cut it together. Yeah. So my process is more from a literal sense, you know, from the power of words to unlock visualizations that, like, you know, your limits as an artist, you know, sort of impose on you. You try to sketch the perfect shot of this whole thing, and your hand isn't as nimble as your mind. But if you just say, yeah, you pan to the ceiling, your possibilities are endless. So, yeah.
I think there's also something quite nice about, you know, entering a new space and seeing what it says to you, and then from there, kind of, it's almost like a collaboration with the space or the place that you're working with. So, you know, I'm an illustrator by trade, so I do a lot of storyboarding, you know, but you know, when you go to a new city or when you go to a new space, it's feeding you a whole bunch of information. Yeah. And from there, you kind of want to be an artist when you make films. I mean, everyone has their own different ways, but what's quite nice about short films is that you have the room to do that, you know? You have the room to play and communicate with your subject matter. You know?
Yeah, you're striving to create as complete a story as possible, or if you're after enigma or a labyrinth, you are always confined by the fact that it has to finish at some point. Yeah. And that frees your mind, you know, somehow. It allows you to work within certain confines to the best of your ability, I think.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what else you've got lined up that you're working on right now?
I am a hard-working person, or so it seems. My first 3 feature films, All the Pretty Girls, which is like a documentary psychodrama, you know. My second film, that fly 70s sci-fi futuristic-ish with 2 exclamation marks. It's like an Afrofuturist blaxploitation 86-minute extravagant experience. And my last film, The Age of Wonder, which has 8 other names because I'm extra like that, is like a psychedelic wanderlust about the relationship between 2 brothers. And they communicate via messaging, you know, and they try their very best to be as bitter and as jaded to each other as they can, because I like this kind of like a cutting or biting dialogue. So those first 3 films are being screened at Kino Central in Mitte. And it's a trilogy I call the Royal African Trilogy, and the abbreviation is RAT. I was born in the year of the rat, so hey, it all goes full circle. Yeah, they're being screened at Kino Central in Mitte, you know, all the way to the end of September, I hope, so people can watch that and have a conversation with me afterwards. And then I am developing I would say it's a sci-fi superfly horror film, and it's going to be sort of a look or like a way for me to show my sister who passed away in 2008 that I miss her and that I think about her every day. It's called Lost Patience, and her name was Patience, or her name's Patience. And I have a wish list for a cast, you know. I'd love Tomiwa Eden.
Do we see any potentials in this audience?
Nah, man, I'm going for stars, man. Are there any stars here? I'm looking for stars. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. You have to show your star credential, you know. That's what I want. So I can tell you my wish list super fast.
Yeah, tell us your wish list.
So I'm trying to get this guy, Tomiwa Eden, to star in it as a version of myself, because if someone's going to play you, they need to be, you know, more charismatic, so people get a new impression of
more
you.
Charismatic.
I don't know how you can get more charismatic.
This actor is incredible, man.
This
actor is incredible. And I'd love for Saoirse Ronan to play a version of my sister. And for your namesake, Wumi, her last name escapes me, but she's in Love Country. and she's a fantastic actress. Lovecraft Country from HBO.
So he was telling me about this hottie called Wumi, and I thought he was talking about me, but he's not. He's
No.
talking about another Wumi.
So if anyone on your wish list is watching, you can hit us up on 017.
Yeah. Hey, just
Email us at
Mhla
Famalam.
Ncube.
yeah. I mean, I'd give you my email address, but that sounds desperate. I think it's going to be an incredible film, and anyone who gives me 5 million to make it, I'll make them so wealthy. I just need 5 million euros or dollars
You
or
don't ask
pounds.
for much.
I
Yeah.
can give you 5 million naira.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take it.
I mean, I've had the pleasure of working with you and making a little short film together, which may be ready for the next film festival.
Oh, wow.
And I've also had the pleasure of watching two of your feature films in Kino Central, so I can highly recommend that everyone try and go down for one of these screenings.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions from the audience for Malele?
I can nominate Altea to ask me a question.
Did you
What's that? What's his phone number? Is that what you say? Yes. You got to be louder, sis.
Do you need to go down? Come up here. Come up here, out there.
Come take the spotlight. Whoa! I mean, you can ask Amanda my
Your
question.
new presenter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was telling you that I'm always asking about the colors in your film because I'm always like really I was struck by them.
Yes.
And yeah, I just wanted to know what in this case you can tell me about but there's like 4 type of different tonalities there.
Hey, I remember this vividly. The second I arrived in LA, right? I got stuck in immigration because I had a sandwich that I forgot to eat, and they searched my bag and found the sandwich. So they were asking me questions like, "What's in the sandwich?" And yeah, it was super stressful, you know. And I tried to keep it together. I tried not to talk about my allegiance to things that I shouldn't. So they let me in. They let me through LAX. And the second I was out in the sunshine, I thought to myself, man, LAX might look dubious, but this sun is quite something. So when I was making the film, I wanted to try at least to communicate just how bright and fulsome the sky feels. That there's so much possibility. So I had that type of blue that I wanted to keep. And then with those other different colors, like black and white, it was a case of accentuating the various advantages all the different skin tones give you, you know? That like maybe black skin with a little bit of a blue light, they have like a nice interplay, you know? His skin color with like a certain type of light, it can feel like slightly fluorescent. So I was going for this romanticized version of everyone's face, so they could just do a screenshot and use that as that Tinder profile picture. Yes.
Good work, good work.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you to Malele, to Ncube.
Ncube.
I will get
Say
it right
to
one
the
day.
sky.
Ncube. I know how it feels when everyone gets your name wrong. You know, I have that problem.
Thank you
but
so
yeah,
much.
big round of applause for Ncube. You look so fly.
I have to try.